Johnson reads right, but unfortunately not able.
One of the most important yet overlooked pieces of pickleball equipment is the ball we use to play the sport itself. Second only to the player's paddle, this part of the pickleball arsenal has the most direct impact on the gameplay of any given point, going so far as to potentially affect the result of entire matches themselves. Clearly, it is vital to ensure that such a fundamental and potentially pivotal part of the sport remains consistent from one ball to another so as to maximize performance. So, naturally, the production of the pickleball is one of the most varied, diverse, and inconsistent aspects of the game's landscape. There are dizzying amounts of different brands of balls, styles, types, and colors. Looking at it from the perspective of the average player, the hectic market around this most basic part of the game can seem quite chaotic and bizarre. So let's take a step back for a minute and actually understand what makes for a good pickleball and see what we as consumers should be looking for in these key products. Now, I like to break down the most important part of a ball into these 5 categories: consistency, construction quality, durability, visibility, and speed. Let's take a look at the first of these 5 categories: consistency. When we talk about the consistency of a ball, we're primarily focusing on its performance in play after a certain period of use. Any good ball should have standard, predictable bounces off the playing surface, disregarding other factors like spin and so on. Moreover, their feel when contacting the paddle and the trajectory of shots should have pretty much no variation. A ball has to always feel soft and spongy or hard and fast. It can't just degenerate to such a degree that it is radically different in use from when it was first cracked out of the box. In other words, the ball has to be reliable during play. It can't just wildly kick one way out of nowhere on a bounce, dramatically lose spin, or feel inconsistent when struck in different ways. This stays true even after the ball is broken in. If a ball plays wildly differently after its 5th game due to wear, it lacks consistency. Stability during gameplay is paramount, and any ball worth its salt should strive to deliver its users a consistent, satisfying experience during the entirety of the product's lifespan. This leads me to my next point: general construction quality. Let's face it, there are a lot of cheap, crappy, poorly made products in the pickleball sphere. From paddles to cases, shoes, and yes, even balls, there is an ever-present deluge of shoddily made products out there looking to capitalize on the rapidly growing success of pickleball. We're gonna want to avoid these poor products while looking for our balls of choice. Most often, high-quality balls will be molded out of a singular piece of plastic and then have a number of holes evenly drilled into them. Anything that is non-standard in this design is likely not suitable for any kind of really serious play. Also, be wary of any deformities or defects on the surface of the ball. They can often come misshapen right out of the package, leading to a truly awful playing experience. When in doubt, look to tournament-sanctioned balls to give you the premium quality manufacturing that you'll be after. These types of balls will be specifically designed for pickleball play, and likewise, should be durable enough for prolonged, competitive play, which is another key factor in looking at pickleballs. Common sense says a ball's gotta be able to last a while in order to be worth the purchase. After all, it does nobody any good if a ball cracks after only a game or two. Thicker plastic, better design, and higher quality materials all factor into this point. On average, any good pickleball should perform to a set standard for at least around 10 games before the risk of serious damage of the ball could influence gameplay. Naturally, surface type also plays a role here. Rough, hard surfaces will definitely chew a ball up a bit quicker than, say, a gym floor. That's where the purchase of either indoor-specific or outdoor balls come in. The hard court surface of outdoor courts should always be exclusively played on outdoor balls, while playing indoors affords you the choice of either type of ball. But no matter what, these pieces of equipment should be able to last a decent amount of time during regular play. Now, the last couple of points here are a bit more subjective than all the rest. Visibility and speed are more of a personal preference than anything else, and certainly aren't objective measures of the quality of a ball, per se. However, there are still some things to be noted about both that helps us further differentiate and understand these products. Well, for example, a ball must have a high contrast, bright color in order to pop out of the court. Presumably, you'll want to play with balls significantly different in color to the court you're playing on. You wouldn't want to be playing on an all-blue court with the blue ball. That just isn't very good for visibility, of course. So contrast is important in factoring into your decision. Moreover, brighter colors in general are easier to follow given the fast-paced nature of the game at the net, and they will stick out better in dark playing spaces in the evening. You'll also want to make sure you're playing with a ball that's the right speed for you. Usually, for competitive play, you'll want the slickest, fastest ball you can use. Something with a smooth surface, lots of holes, and a bit more weight. If you're playing casually, you might want a softer, slower experience. Either way, you need to be aware of the speed of the ball you'll be playing with. The design of the ball probably has the most direct impact on the gameplay of the point, so this is definitely something that you will want to heavily consider. And with that, you now know the basics of what makes a good pickleball. You're going to want something that has a consistent feel during play, is well made, will last a bit of time, can be clearly seen at high speeds, and will play the same way you want it to consistently. Of course, we didn't cover everything there is to know about pickleballs here, so feel free to continue this discussion elsewhere at your local courts, on Reddit, or even in the comments below. There are a lot of options out there, and it's always a good idea to experiment with different brands and find out what you like most in your pickleballs. It is super important for you to have at least an idea of your preferences for such an integral piece of the game. Just like any other gear, the ball you play with is a personal decision. It is just as much a representation of your game as the paddle that you use. All that's to say is, make sure you're playing with the stuff that gives you the most enjoyable experience, and of course, remember to have fun. Thanks for watching.
The upset. Big return from Ben Johns right there. Sets up that whole point as he is able to close ground and get to the kitchen line. But Johns needs to start to answer here to get back in this game. There's one right there on the serve. Johnson crosses Johns up just a little bit, deciding whether he wanted to take that ball out of the air or let it drop. Good pressure from J.W. Johnson. And J.W. Johnson has a match point here on his paddle up 10-3 on world number 1 Ben Johns. And that return goes long, and J.W. Johnson has upset number 1 Ben Johns 11-9, 9-11.